You're listening to Empire of Rust, the world's first and only Transformers RPG podcast. Join the heroes of Iacon as they defend Cybertronian civilization from the remnants of Cybertron First to Lord Starscream's egotistical leadership, and beyond to the unknown threats on the other side of distant stars.
Welcome back, everyone, to Empire of Rust, the best podcast. Don't you guys agree?
Of course.
Hi.
It's the best Transformers role-playing podcast I've ever heard.
Or been a part of.
Damn straight it is.
It's also the worst one I've ever heard.
You shut your whore mouth.
Damn straight.
No, there's... Okay, so there was one other, one shot that a podcast had done that was a Transformers RPG. I forget the name of it because I didn't enjoy it that much.
I mean, have you been making us lie this entire time?
No, because we are still technically the only Transformers RPG podcast right now. There was one,
But were we first?
actually I think we were the first because when I looked at the date, I think it was November 2020 that it came out, and it was a one shot.
All right.
So we're lucky, but by accident. We're right. We're telling the truth, but accidentally.
What system did they use?
It doesn't matter what system they used.
Hey, I'm curious.
I think they used the Savage World system.
Ah, interesting.
Interesting.
Oh.
Yeah, they did a lot of customization, obviously, and they pretty much did it right from the ground up. So they took the stat cards. You remember the stat cards in the back of the packages on the toys?
Yeah.
They took the stats of that and then made a D10 system based out of it.
Oh, interesting.
They took the throttle bots and used them as characters. So they just pretty much assigned them to everyone. They didn't make custom characters. Well, they didn't make new characters or anything. So they had to take existing ones, and then it was just a one shot little adventure.
That seems like a lot of work for a one shot.
I know, doesn't it?
Yeah. Half the people listening to this right now are just looking over at their collection, the ones in the boxes, going, I can't. I just can't imagine it. Why would they desecrate the boxes like that?
Yeah, it
seems like Savage World is it's sort of a light system for using this many details,
Yeah.
Savage World is kind of a catch-all loose system anyway. Mm-hmm. You can fit just about anything in there.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely right. That's right. One of the reasons they picked on it too. I mean, because we did this in Starfinder, but it was a good amount of work getting a rule system in place that actually makes this worthwhile and fun.
Still, you'd think you'd have to add a lot, even more to something like Savage Worlds, considering it. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong. I can't say
along the wrong
along
lines.
the wrong
line.
I literally can't say it.
You'd have
around
to
the long line.
Around the long.
Yeah, you'd probably have to add a whole bunch of stuff that we take for granted with Starfinder, like feats and weapons and stuff like that.
But considering that they took the stats from the 1 to 10 setup on the back of the stat cards, it honestly could have worked because I don't think they bothered to add in anything really complicated or anything. So they didn't go that road. They just
most of the stuff wasn't really in the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just sort of because I can see that because if you're low, it's a D4. If it's middle, it's D6. Depending on you could divide up that little stat block into the sections between the different dies, and that wouldn't be terrible. I can see a certain amount of parity between.
Yeah, if D&D had originally just added the statistic, the ability to the skills instead of a modified, watered down modifier from those, it could easily have just been a 1 through 10 for the stats. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You start off low and you build up.
Although it sounds like it'd probably be all flavor and no mechanics, probably.
A lot of it was, yeah.
which isn't terrible.
No, certainly not. Certainly not. I mean, this is certainly a rules-heavy environment that we're playing in. Mm-hmm. But yeah, if I do find it again, I will link it to you guys so you can experience it. Like I said, it was a one-shot, so it wasn't really too in-depth. Their audio quality is certainly not as good as ours.
As uncertain as ours could be.
Just heard you say that you didn't enjoy it, so you can just pass on bringing a recommendation or a link to us. I can go without listening.
That's fair. Continue to be the one and only in our mind, right?
The one and only, except for that one that we dissed that one day on that one episode.
That none of us heard.
Man, this isn't our finest moment, is it?
So one thing that I wanted to share, something that I did recently with you guys, and it was something really, really kind of cool. And I don't know why I never thought to do this before, but I never had. So back in July, well, let me phrase that. Back a month and a half ago, I went on Amazon and bought 2 puzzles. Now, you may be thinking, Mike, they're just a couple of puzzles. I can go to the store and pick up a bunch right now if I wanted. I could buy more than just 2 and probably spend less than $15. And you'd be right. You could. Except that these ones, I actually did customized puzzles. So I found some artwork that I really liked from Transformers. Some of the, like one of the lithos from Dreamwave and something that a fan artist had done, like a big shot of Fort Max. And you can upload them, turn them into puzzles, and have them like custom made. And I thought that was a really kind of neat idea. So
yeah,
I got them.
Surprised they were willing to do it.
Yeah. The company is it's kind of skeevy. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I mean, it's the smaller companies are generally more willing to do that than the bigger ones.
Yeah.
Like, I designed, like, a custom Hello Kitty thing for a friend of mine years and years ago. The lady was into Hello Kitty. And I made a mug of it, and I put it on Zazzle, and then they're like, no, can't do it.
Yep.
Like, jeez.
In the questions on the Amazon listing, there was a whole bunch, like, hey, what's the size? Like, what's the image size you need? What kind of detail you need? Yada, yada, all that stuff. And then somewhere right in the middle is, could I upload an explicit photo? It's like, God. But yeah, so I got the 2 Transformers ones put in. I had to upsize them in Photoshop to make sure they were high enough quality in order to work correctly. But yeah, they seem to come up pretty nice.
I can guarantee you that there are some explicit puzzle making, but that's probably their niche market.
Yeah, totally.
It's for those people who take the pill and then they need something to do for the next 3 hours to see if it wears down.
What?
Well, what you do after the 3 hours, you call the doctor is what you do.
Well, yeah, they figure, all right, it takes me about 3 hours to do the puzzle. If I'm still erect at the end of the puzzle, then I gotta call the doctor.
Oh, it's a pariah puzzle. Got it.
But yeah, so I love doing puzzles, and I had two or three on board, kind of ready to go before I even got the Transformers one. So I have another 3 or 4 left to build. What about you guys? Do you enjoy puzzles at all?
Mike, when you do the Transformers one, you should take a picture of it and show us.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, when you're burning copyrights, you might as well just go whole hog. Right?
Do a stop motion of every piece being put in.
Oh, God.
That'll be amazing.
3 years later, it's finished. Only took me 8 hours a day for 15 weeks.
We lost all of our listeners.
And I couldn't use my dining room table for 6 months. It's interesting, actually. We had a cool puzzle. It was like a Scotty Dog puzzle, and it had all sorts. But it was like pictures, like every little bit of Scotty Dog memorabilia, and it was large. We had a Scotty Dog at the time, and he was really cool. So we took this huge picture. Then we glued it together and hung it on the wall. Cool. And it was up there for a few years. It eventually got water damage, so we had to get rid of it. So I was like, a few years later, I was like, I'd like to have another one of those to put on my wall because that was cool. And I actually turns out it was out of print. And this brand that's sort of popular that's sort of a little obscure, not obscure, but a little hard to find. So I actually found a full copy of it But then I realized I don't have any room to put together a puzzle thing anymore. So I still have the box of it somewhere, but
Nice.
I don't have the square footage to
You put it together.
I didn't need my floor for 3 weeks.
In like 2 square foot increments.
Because I want to. I mean, at some point I will. At some point I'll find a way to put it together, and then I'll glue it, and I'll hang it up.
Just
again.
glue it one piece at a time on the wall.
Yeah, and my landlord will love that.
Don't make any mistakes.
See, that's something that like I used to do. Like I used to glue them to like foam board and then save them. Mm-hmm. But then I realized, like, okay, I've just spent $20 on this puzzle, or even more, with like the foam core and the spray mount and the frame and everything, and I don't even have it up on the wall. Like I don't have it up anymore. So it's just like it's in the basement right now, just like artwork. It's like, why did I even bother doing that? Why didn't I just keep it in the box? That way, maybe 2 or 3 years later, I could build it again.
I mean, I have had a lot of puzzles in my life, and most of them I put it together and have fun, and then take it apart and do it again. Yep. You know, maybe in a year.
Yeah.
You know, it's the rare one that I want to hang up. I mean, this particular one is something I'd really enjoy having on the wall. But I mean, that I'm with you on that. You know, I'd rather keep them as a puzzle for the most part.
Yeah.
Unless it's one of those puzzles like, hell, I'm never doing this again.
Yeah. My grandmother used to do really big, you know, like 3 billion piece puzzles or whatever. I don't know. It's like 10,000 pieces or something. Had a card table that was supporting not a plywood, but like it was like a wood paneling, a big sheet of wood paneling that she was using as the flat surface, and she'd sit there for hours. I remember when I was very young, like sitting in her lap and helping her do 1 or 2 pieces. And that's all I could do before she'd get frustrated and say, "All right, you go play with your toys. This is Grandma's toys."
What about you, Pat? You've been awfully quiet there. You don't like puzzles?
No, I love puzzles. I had a similar thing. Like my grandfather did them like religiously. Like that was like every Christmas, every grandchild gave him a new puzzle. But I was the oldest of the grandchildren on like both sides of the family, so it was my responsibility to give like the best ones. And so
nice.
They got really awful as time got on because like I was the first one to give him like the 3D puzzles and then like, you know, the ones that were like buildings. And I actually gave him the one puzzle he could not solve. And I have it still. And as an homage to him after he died, I actually solved the puzzle to just be like, okay. And this thing is evil. It's only 500 pieces. And it says this on the box. It says 500 pieces seems like 4,000. And the reason it's awful is it's the picture. It's a 7x7 image, so it's 49 leprechauns, like sitting there, like on, you know, with their hand down, doing a puzzle. And so every single one of them is just a little bit more done, like in the spiral into the room. So it's just like the same image over and over and over again. It's double-sided, and the other side is the same image but turned 90 degrees to the right.
Ooh.
So it just became like a recursive nightmare, like, you know, because you're just like, okay, just set it up, like, you know. So it wasn't fun, you know, but you know, I did that. But I'm not.
It was your puzzle that killed him. Oh my gosh.
Well, yeah. Well, it's funny because like but we had a pool table in the basement, and he had like 70 completed puzzles like that, like you said, and then like they were all over the basement walls. Like, you know, he used to glue them and then put them up, but then I was always like, I never did that. I was like, well, the purpose of the puzzle is to take it apart and put it back together again. So like I've never glued that thing. I actually got one from Christmas, like one of those like Marvel superhero, like here's every superhero we could possibly put in. And I haven't done it yet, but it's like I'm looking forward to it. But again, it's like it's big. Like this one's like 2,000 or 3,000 pieces, so I'm like, okay, that's going to take time, and I've got a cat, so it's
oh yeah.
But one of the things, like my grandfather, like that was a thing that my grandfather and I used to bond with. Like, you know, I would do puzzles, and I picked it up quick, and he taught me how to see things, like, you know, like both. Like, so like my search check and my perception check were inspired almost entirely by him. Because like puzzles is a search check. That's what it is. It's perception using your intelligence. It's, you know, whereas like, but whenever I would see him, I'd always ask him what he was doing, and no matter what he was doing, he'd always say, "Oh, I'm planting watermelons," and I would be like, "No, you're not. Like you're stripping a chair," and he would just think, "Well, if you knew what I was doing, then why did you ask?" And so I'm like, that's like, you know, and that, you know, he was just being an asshole, but like that's me turning that frown upside down, but. I was an asshole too. Like I learned that from him, and I used to hide one of the puzzle pieces in whatever puzzle he was working on, so that I was the one that got to put the last puzzle piece in. And after a while, he figured it out, and he would just like call me up on the phone. He's like, "Where did you hide it, you little son of a bitch?" Like, you know, and I'd be like, "Oh, it's underneath like the 5th teacup on the bookshelf in the room," like, you know, like, and that kind of thing. And it was, but yeah, that was our, you know.
That is fantastic.
You are a monster, Pat.
Yeah, I just recently had an idea to create a puzzle-like game for Starfinder for the DSCL, where it'd be like a 30-day run for someone who built a ship to see how much cargo they could transport to and from the pack worlds in 30 days, you know, given whatever drift engine they built and how many expansion bays that they had available. And they'd have to, you know, they would get random sized cargo that they'd have to try to fit into their cargo hold in different ways.
So it's like Tetris almost.
Yeah, like Tetris for each of the things. And then you also have to manage your time between your planets and your pickups and deliveries to see how much you can get in within 30 days.
This is the sort of thing you get some real degenerate cases of, like, a gigantic bathtub with a rocket engine on the end.
Yeah,
And I've always seen the puzzles as, like, there seems to be, like, the puzzles, like, the puzzles for enjoyment, and the puzzles are, like, how hard can we friggin' make it? It's like eating it's like eating spicy food type thing. Like, do I want to enjoy the taste, or do I want to burn my tongue off, you know? And so like this puzzle machismo.
I gave him a puzzle that was just pins. You know, it's like the needle in the haystack, but it was just all needles. Like, so the whole thing was just needles. I gave him a puzzle that was just the color blue, like uniform blue. Like, I mean, like.
What about one of those edgeless ones?
I don't know if I ever got one of those, but yeah. I mean, I gave him good puzzles too, but like, it was my responsibility to test him.
There's one I saw when I was a kid. It was like 3-dimensional. It had layers and it was transparent.
Ooh. Oh.
So it was because like the hardest puzzle in the world, it said, or something like that. Of course, a lot of them say that, but
that's interesting.
Well, speaking of puzzles, you have a puzzle to solve today, don't you?
I think we solved it. And all we have to do is
either we've solved or failed at this point.
We step back and see the mess we've created. Look at that. Now one piece is together.
Paid your fee, you take your choice.
All right, let's jump right back into this. Carapace, what did you just do?
I for the foyer? No.
Bench?
Bench.
Is it a bench? Whatever. Yeah.
May I approach the bench, Your Honor? Yes, it's a bench.
So I place the thing down there and nod at him and go back and take my seat.
And the moment you do, chaos erupts in the courtroom. Everyone is standing up, and it's like, there it is, the binding crystal, it's right there. They put it there, they're the ones who took it, they're the ones who did it. Like, no, they brought it back, you see the evidence. And everyone is kind of yelling at each other, and yeah, Stanzamt is just banging his gavel.
Order! I will have order in this courtroom.
But even he has to take a moment to just appreciate the return of the crystal. So, during all this chaos, Roentgens is going to take his opportunity to attempt to slip out the back. But if I recall correctly, someone's waiting out there for him.
That is correct.
So, in the chaos, he slips out and he opens the door, and you're right there, Wildstrike.
Going somewhere?
Who are you? Get out of my way.
Oh, just a friend. I think we should go back in. And I will kind of force him back in.
Do you have weapons out?
No. Well, technically, yes. They're part of me.
Let's see here. So he is going to try to slip past you. So if you want to just shove him back in, you can go ahead and make an attack roll. If you want to be a little subtle about it, I want you to roll a stealth.
All right. I'll try to be subtle.
What's the size difference here?
Yeah.
Royankins actually is a pretty big for an organic. Not quite as tall as you, Wildstrike, but still a good size. He'd be somewhere in between small and medium for a size category.
I get a 38 for my stealth check.
Not bad.
You took his shadow.
Right?
That's when where he slips by. I think he slips by and runs around him, and he finds out he's back where he started.
He tries to slip by. You just grab me. You twirl him around you. It's let's just go back in here.
Right, so I guess be a 19 for the attack, just to push him.
And so you get him back into the gallery here, and you're just standing in the doorway, standing behind him.
Take a seat.
All right, Magnum, sweet spot.
Yes.
They're still trying to he's still trying to get order back. What do you want to do?
That's his job, isn't it?
Just want to wait until it's quieted down so that we can announce our evidence and the return of their beloved crystal.
We'll say it takes about 2-3 minutes for him to get the entire courtroom back under control, because there was a lot of back and forth on this one. So why don't you, 2-3 minutes go by, and he finally manages to dull all of the shouting and everything down to a light roar, and you can be heard. So what would you like to say?
Your honors, esteemed judges, the prosecution, and all those witnessed here in the courtroom, I present our final piece of evidence, the item in which we found upon the true villain, of which we have punished to the fullest extent of our might. Off of Quick Switch, we have taken and now delivered back unto you the crystal of blah, blah, blah.
I think it's called the Gem of Lesser Enlightenment, or the Rock of Braininess.
Wildstrike, while Sweet Spot's making the speech, Royingins is struggling against you. He's trying to push past you, to push you out of his way.
How's that working out?
I just got a nat 20. First roll of the night. This is awesome. Oh man. This is good. All right. So, Royingins attempts to kind of push past you, just kind of pushes against you, but you're too big and beefy a bot for him. But what he manages to do is he manages to kind of distract you a little bit. He kind of feints to the side, thinks he's going to slide over to your left. You move to block him. He slides over to the right.
He's like, is that a defenseless building over there?
What in the world can that be?
Oh, that was a perfect time for a nat 20. Oh, I feel so good now. I feel so good. I don't think anything other than nat 20 would have done it too.
Yeah, probably not.
So he kind of slides past you and into the hall. What would you like to do?
Head on out after him.
Just running straight after him, right?
Yep.
So he manages to dart by your side, kind of just under your arm, as you are fooled into thinking there's a building that needs to be attacked. And he starts to run down the hall. You are going to go after him, you say. Now, are you trying to be quiet? Are you just going to cause a ruckus? What is going on here?
How's he moving?
He's just kind of running down, He's moving as quick as he possibly can.
Is he actually running, or is he just moving quickly, walking quickly?
He's running, but not mechanically running.
Okay. I will chase after him then.
So he's hustling.
He's hustling. He's not taking like the full 4 times movement from Starfinder.
Yeah.
But he is moving as fast as he possibly can.
Yeah, I want to catch up to him.
Full attack.
I'll also say over the comm that he's on the move.
Stay with him.
Probably in a while before they get to the point of investigating it.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it's almost like him running away is probably better. Because, as far as I know, and, ignore me completely, but we have no authority to enact justice on this planet, from there. Like, if the bailiffs had all heard that, the thing, and we're like, oh my god, the guy's getting away, and then they tackle him, that would be butter, but it's not. It's you just tackling a high-up member of their thing is probably not a good idea.
I didn't say I tackle him.
But I like violence, so,
It works in all the, 80s crime dramas.
Oh, yeah, and those follow jurisdictional prudence, Yeah. The amount of paperwork that we'd have to do in order to deal with that sort of carnage is,
After your speech there, Sweet Spot, Stanzamp will go ahead and stand up and say,
This is highly unusual. You understand that we are going to have to authenticate the crystal to ensure it is the real thing.
I would expect.
Understood.
No less.
But if this is the binding crystal, and based on the evidence that you've shown, this shows favorably towards all of you. If this is the real thing, then you will have the gratitude of Scarvix. However, if you are trying to present this as a fake, then this trial will expand to include all of you as accomplices. So I hope for your sake, it's authentic.
I will lean into Pythagoras. Exactly how sure are we that's the real thing?
Yeah, don't worry, it's fine. I took the Made in Taiwan label off. They'll never guess.
Right at the end of his speech, you guys hear the ruckus from the gallery as Reutengins is starting to try to push his way past Wildstrike, and with perfect timing, just as Reutengins figures his way past, that's when all of you look up to the gallery to see the scuffle and see him pushing his way through. So all of you have noticed that Reutengins ran and Wildstrike is going after him. So what do the three of you want to do?
We can't just bust out. I mean, we're in the middle of the
say,
courtroom. We need permission.
Why is that guy running away?
Hey,
the innocent don't run, right?
That suspiciously large gentleman in the corner is right.
It's your opportunity.
Do you want us to stop him?
Nice.
Be like, Your Honor, Minister Rothengar appears eager to leave, Your Honor.
You three, remain here. Bailiffs, please find and escort Administrator Reutengins back to the courtroom. We will get to the bottom of this. We will find out what is going on here. Court is in recess for 30 minutes until we can get this resolved.
Exactly at that moment that the gavel falls, I will go to comms and say, Wildstrike, you on him?
I'm behind him.
You are still 30 feet behind him. It is your turn to do something, but notice that there is one of the guards that were in the hallway. Remember I said there was 2 guards. One you went past, the other one is on the other side. Reutengins is approaching that guard.
Okay. I will move up briskly to stay behind him, but I won't try to attack him or hold him or anything like that. Just to keep up with him so I know where he is.
All right. Well, you will walk up to him. Like I said, he's he's running, but not mechanically running.
Yeah.
So he is gonna get up to the guard and tell him, "Stop him! He's trying to attack me!" And he'll go around the guard, and the guard will move to block you.
Did I hear the court call for him?
It's a good question. Go ahead and give me a perception check.
17.
But we'll see what the guard is doing. Let's have a low roll. Actually, a low roll for both of you. So I am going to say, especially with the din of the courtroom behind you, I'm going to say no. Both of you guys have not heard.
Okay. I'll put my hands up and say, whoa, I'm just trying to leave. I don't even know who this guy is.
Is that true? Either way.
No, I just said it because it was untrue.
If that's true, then you'll have no problem waiting for the administrator to head out of the hallway and leave the building before you move, right?
Not at all.
All right, then. He does have his weapon not pointed at you, but it is, like, readied. It's in his arms. It's just pointed down to the floor. And he is just kind of he's kind of backed up a little bit to keep an eye on both you and the administrator. And it looks like he is waiting for the administrator to clear the hall and clear the building to get away from you before anything else.
I will then talk on the comms. Sorry, I can't get the files you requested. I'm being stopped in the hallway by one of the guards. One of the guys thinks I'm following him. I don't know where he got that from, but I'll get the file to you as soon as I can. Tell the judge they have to wait, and then I'll kind of stop I'm listening and try to see what the guard says after that.
Nice.
We hear him over the comm?
Yeah, he said he was using comms.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if he was pretending to use it or not.
I am actually using it, so you guys are informed, but I'm also trying to bluff the guard.
I figured he'd be clever. Definitely.
Give me a quick bluff check, then.
Sure.
See if he buys what you're selling.
22.
22, you say, huh?
Yep.
It's a bargain.
22. Sorry to say there, buddy, but if the administrator doesn't want you near him, doesn't want you following him, you're going to have to wait.
I'm waiting. I'm just letting, the staff know that I won't be able to make it until afterwards.
All right. Here's what I want you to do, Wild Strike. Do you have any kind of profession or anything?
I don't think so.
What would be the check for soldiering, for understanding tactics? What do you think would be a good skill for that you can use?
Yeah, it would be a profession probably.
Survival, maybe. Intimidate, maybe.
Knowledge war. Knowledge, fighty.
Diplomacy.
Culture, maybe?
Specifically, I am trying to see if you can figure out a way of blocking his path, trying to figure out how to get around him and maybe block off his escape one way and try to force him to go someplace else. That's my thought for you. So any skill that you think you can use to justify that, go ahead and...
Yeah, not really. I don't really have anything that would be useful.
Survival, engineering, perception...
You can do a straight intelligence check if you want, but I figured a skill would be more beneficial for you.
Not any of those.
I have a potential thing. I'm assuming the administrator could probably hear you. You can bluff the administrator by saying something loud enough for him to hear, like, "Oh, there's already somebody outside in the back. Don't worry, we can let him go."
That's true.
Because that might,
Nice.
He'd be like, "Oh shit!" And then which way do we go?
Yep.
Way to go. Which way do we go?
All right, go ahead and roll it up, man.
Roll another massive bluff check there.
Oh, what do you want me to do, bluff?
I mean, that's certainly not true, so you're lying.
Well, that's the thing. If you're doing intelligence, then that's fine. But I thought you were doing Pat's suggestion with the bluff check.
Yeah.
Either way, just tell me which one you're doing.
Yeah, I will do that suggestion. Let's see, let me do the bluff. 18. So again, not great, but... I'll say, yeah, you're out front or back wherever he's heading. You're out front? Okay. Heading your way soon.
And you say it loud enough for him to hear as he is kind of moving around the corner?
Yep.
Okay. Sounds good to me. Sweet Spot, Magnum, Carapace. What do you want to do? You're in the courtroom here, and yeah, you just heard... I assume you said that on the comms too there, Wild Strike.
Yeah.
If we're in recess, and as soon as I hear that our esteemed colleague is not going to be able to make it with the files, I will excuse myself toward the front of the courtroom ASAP. In fact, in a damn hurry.
Can I connect up to the intercom system?
I can't imagine that would be too secure, but I also think no, I mean, it's all going to be transmissions based, I'm assuming.
It's up to you to decide. Public address.
High or low, good for you?
High or low? Yeah, high or low, good for you.
Alright, hi.
Alright, hi. Let's see what's happening here. Rolled a 13, so yeah, you can.
Attention bailiffs. The presence of Administrator, what's his name?
Roitengins.
Oh.
Stromsoft. Yeah, is requested at court number 1 in...
It's Roitengins there, Matt.
The only court. What?
It's Roitengins. Stanzamt is the judge.
Excuse me. Stanzamt's already here. Don't worry about it.
Wow. That's great.
Good job, guys. You're getting things done real fast. Anyway, please assist the administrator to return to the courtroom, if you please. He may not know he's needed, so that would be very helpful if you could do that. Bailiffs, please do that soon. And where's the off button?
That is wonderful.
Son of a bitch, Magnum. Always a fun guy.
It's ridiculous.
His mouth is all he's got, you know.
Okay, so everyone is looking around because it came over the intercom system. So everyone's like, "What's going on? Who was that? Was that Magnum?" And you get kind of dirty looks from Stanzamt and the other judges there.
Well, they wanted him here, didn't he? I was polite.
Magnum, please refrain from hacking into our intercom system. That is for official court use only.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Your Honor. I thought, man, you're. Did I say Your Honor? What am I thinking? I'm sorry, Your Manager. I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Did you
was just trying to be helpful.
Catapult.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're Ottoman. I mean, you're. Oh, wait. Was he turned into a chair? God damn it! You know.
I will do so. I was just trying to be helpful, but I thought we were on recess. Nope. Never again.
All right, are you guys hanging around in the courtroom here?
Yeah, sure. This is going to be interesting.
So, Sweet Spot, you are heading towards the front of the courtroom.
Hi.
And are you leaving or just staying to the front?
I am leaving. I'm trying to make my way. Like, as soon as I'm out the door, I will transform and drive myself right on over to the back entrance fastest way I know how.
Yeah, this poor sap, he has the two fastest characters after him.
Right.
All right, you head that way. Wild Strike, the guard, after keeping you there for about 2 or 3 minutes or so, until right after you hear Magnum's announcement. He will eventually let you go and step aside for you to move, but you do get the sense that if you start running, he probably will tackle you. Mm-hmm. Or attempt to.
He'll try.
Because he's a guard, not a bailiff. Is that the idea?
Yeah, you get the sense that these two are up there to provide security for the administrators in the gallery, more than being a courtroom employee.
So he doesn't think that going after the guy who just left is a good idea yet, even though it was just announced. Because
again, that's not his job. His job is protection, not to hunt down people.
Bureaucrats. No, I get it.
Think this way: what would he be in more trouble for obeying the court, who's not his boss, or abandoning his post?
No, this is exactly how courts work, Mike. I'm totally with you.
Oh, well, thank you for being on my side.
Didn't expect that,
all right,
did
Wild
you?
Strike. No, I didn't.
I mean, they'd put someone in an electric chair if they had the wrong paperwork, you know. That's just how it works, you know.
No one expects the Spanish cooperation.
Electric chair. All right, Wild Strike, you are free to move around. What do you want to do?
I'm going to nod at the guard once he passes, and then quickly move, like, basically like double move but not run towards that way, towards the
with all haste.
Yeah,
To the
towards the area that he left.
Well, so Mike just created a precedent, so you can now run, but not mechanically. So you could just say that now.
I will non-mechanically run, and that's funny because I'm a transformer.
Everything you do is mechanical.
You get 60 feet. You run a whole 60 feet. I hope you're happy.
Yes, I am.
You do think that he's made, a good progress in front of you, so you're not, you don't see him as you come around the corner. But either way.
We need to get, like, tracking buttons, so that moment when you just kind of touched him and it just, like, sticks to him, like, that sort of thing. So, like, he thinks he got away.
They exist, actually, in Starfinder, but they're, like, 1,500 each, and the range is lousy.
That's dumb. We should fix that.
We can juice that.
Like, one with, like, a really good range is absurdly expensive.
Once they get out front, I don't see him. I'll transform and fly above and see if I can spot him.
So, Wildstrike, you're going to head towards, the front of the building then?
Yeah.
Sweet spot, Wildstrike. Both of you are heading down the corridors. Wildstrike, you get to the front entrance of the courthouse first. You don't see him anywhere along your path, but you don't expect to see him because you told him that there was someone at the front. Little did he know it was going to be you. Get to the front door, transform, fly up, check around a little bit, just make sure that he hasn't already gotten out, and you don't see him anywhere on that. Alright, so Sweet Spot, you are in car mode. You are hanging around outside the back entrance. I imagine parked in maybe like a parking spot or something, just to blend in as much as possible. Mm-hmm. Not that Sweet Spot could possibly blend in at all.
Tint my windows as much as I can.
In about 2 or 3 minutes, the rear of the courtroom opens up and you see Roytingins step out. He looks around left and right for a moment before starting to move off. What do you want to do?
I will pull up sharply in front of him, roll down the passenger window ever so slightly, and I will say in a disguised voice, as much as I can disguise my voice, get in. Hurry.
Give me a bluff check.
Oh, you're awesome.
Yeah, awesome.
So disguise or bluff? I don't know.
Well, I want you to give me a bluff check first, because you are lying to him.
Yeah.
But you are a car, so, you don't have to pretend to be a car.
Yep.
Oh my god, I laughed until my stomach hurt there.
What'd you get?
Not good. Not great. In fact, it's terrible. I'm like, get in so I can capture you.
He accidentally opens the trunk.
Yeah,
Get in.
My bluff check was a 10.
Do we have anything like that? Do like hero points that allow us to like reroll stuff? I can't remember. We don't do that in this game, right?
No.
That's fine. That's completely fine.
As awesome as that would be there, Adam, he sees through Sweet Spot's bluff, and he knows what's going on. If he gets in that car, then he's just going to go right back to the courtroom. So he will attempt to make a run for it.
Oh, no.
Do you want to let us know that he's out there so that we can redirect the bailiffs towards him?
Yeah. As soon as he doesn't fall for the ploy, I'll be like, he's out on the left side of the building and making a run for it.
Okay.
He runs like he's constipated. It's not pretty. It's not pretty to watch. I'm a little concerned about following him too closely. Maybe I'll just come up alongside him, not directly behind him.
What I'm doing during this whole thing is I'm actively protecting our witness because I'm just paranoid and that's how I survive. But then after we get that message, whoever the closest bailiff is, I'm just going to kind of like reach out and be like, hey, if you want to get some points, here's where he is out front. Go make the catch.
Smart.
All right. And with that, and I won't belabor the point anymore, with Sweet Spot out there kind of like just driving around and keeping him pinned in a little bit so he's not moving as far, and with the bailiffs now knowing where he is, it takes...
Don't forget Wildstrike flying above.
Yep. Wild Strike flying above. The bailiffs get out in about another 30, 40 seconds or so, get around to where they're supposed to be, and they grab him by both arms and escort him back into the courtroom.
That's a bit of theatrics we couldn't have paid for.
I will do a quick victory donut and transform back into a bot.
You have to do that more often.
And I will wait for, cross my arms, satisfied with the outcome, and wait for Wild Strike to land beside me heroically.
Nice.
Walk back into the courtroom. Is there anything that we can't make look good?
Well done, you two.
So here's what's going on. I'm not going to play out every little piece of this, because this could literally be like an hour or two of deposition of the judges talking to Reutengins to see what's going on.
Skip to the end.
But here is what happens. The bailiffs bring Reutengins into the courtroom, and they bring him up onto the witness stand. And even though your trial is still technically going on, the high administrators, Stanzamt, Vixia Examen, and Kultur Gericht, question him about just what they saw from the transmission, and just they're kind of putting it to him to see what his role in this is, because you've clearly proven that there is something going on with him.
So they're going off the rails, but they can do that because they're in charge.
Exactly. And over the course of questioning, which at this point, I mean, you guys have been in the courtroom for probably, I don't know, an hour or two or so it's still early in the day, but this line of questioning kind of goes into the late afternoon and into the evening. And yeah, it all comes out. Over the course of the deposition, Stanzump will ask him all about what his Reutengins' role in all this, and he admits to everything. With the two bailiffs next to him, and with all the evidence that is being presented, and with the kind of courtroom turning against him, he admits to conspiring with Quickswitch in order to get Cybertronian technology, an act that he knows is against the law, and provides Quickswitch access to the binding crystal. And it looks like that Reutengins had arranged for a minimum of guards to be present in the ministry at the time. He arranged for that witness that recorded you, Magnum, jumping over the wall, Aksam. He arranged for Aksam to be there to record you. So a lot of the evidence that was presented was set up by Reutengins back in the day.
Wow. I mean, even set up the recording of the evidence. Man.
Yeah, by the end of the day, they call you back up to the stand.
All right.
We are prepared to deliver the verdict. Would the accused stand? Magnum of Cybertron, it is the summary judgment of this tribunal that you be found innocent, provided that the binding crystal is confirmed to be genuine. If not, we will be back and a different judgment will be rendered. You and your companions are required to remain in Scarvix until examination of the crystal is complete and final judgment is rendered. Is this acceptable to you?
Yes, it is. Thank you very much, Your Honor.
So you can hold on to it this time.
I would request that one of us be present with the crystal until such time so that it can't be switched out, because obviously you're not going to give it back to us.
No, we are not going to be giving it back to you.
Right.
Even if it is fake, we are not going to give it back to you. Who am I even talking to? Who are you? Are you the accused?
But we paid good money for it. I mean...
Oh, yes. Yeah. By all means. We want to be present for the examination.
Permission to stay with the crystal to be sure of that. So the defense has representation during the examination and so forth.
That will be allowed. The crystal will be under constant guard from this point forward. but you will be allowed to remain visit, but not allowed to interact visit.
Just want to observe, Your Honor.
Very well. Court is adjourned for today, and you will be notified once the results are available.
All right.
Well, I kind of look over at Wild Strike with a little bit of like kind of a sadness on my face. I was like, I don't know about you, I was kind of looking forward to breaking him out of another prison. You know?
Would have been fun to be the one breaking into it this time.
Right. Do you want to spark? I need something like spark, paper, scissors. I need something like a transformer-y. Spark. We got to come up with something for that. You know, but you know, like, hey, do you want to do this to see who gets to stay with the crystal and who gets to stay with this guy?
I mean, I can stay with the crystal.
Will they allow that?
Yeah, they just said they'll allow Magnum to stay with it.
Okay. I mean, that's actually...
If anything happens...
That's actually perfect
I can
because...
communicate very well.
Yeah, you can both communicate, you can actually scan the area to make things are legit, and you have a scientist that can verify what's going on. So, like, you're like the triple threat.
The guy.
Yeah.
He's the guy.
And you guys can concentrate on protecting Nikos.
That actually brings up an interesting question. Like, because... Is this guy's, like, not like a hero, but like... I guess he'll still be in danger because other people that, you know, are associated with the guy who just got taken down on corruption will probably be after him. Okay, so we'll stay fighting him.
And either way, too, I mean, he just pretty much turned state's evidence against someone, so his career prospects are probably in the toilet right now.
Right. Well,
no one wants to hire a snitch.
He was at retirement age anyway.
Honest people do, and that's the thing. It's just like, you're like, hey, honest...
Well, that's why his career prospects in government are good.
Truth. So, do you guys want to, get a drink?
Sure.
Yeah. Do indeed. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I know this great place.
You do. You've been getting around. I'm glad you had time to go sightseeing and take in all the accoutrements of this here location while I was prepping for the trial.
Yeah,
I don't think he knew how to respond to that.
All right, so here's what's happening. It takes about 3 days to complete the scientific analysis of the crystal to make 100% certain that it is the real thing. And the state really does come in and they have like 4 different experts come in to verify it because they want to make absolutely certain that it is the real deal. If you want to stay with it the entire time, Magnum, you are welcome to. Or if you want to switch out and take it in shifts, you're welcome to do that as well.
I mean, I'll stick with it. We need the tough guys to watch the other dude.
Nico will come back to the ship with you, and I assume you'll find some space up there for him. He's actually very interested in kind of finding out like what's beyond Scarvix, because you get the sense that he probably hasn't been outside of Scarvix for a very long time. And Wild Strike, he kind of takes a little bit of like a shine to you. He's very interested in the Autobot Decepticon war, and he's super interested in the history about it and like everything that's been going on with it. I mean, come on, a 4 million year civil war. That's kind of an interesting thing, right?
Sure.
Well, it's got to be some kind of record. That's for sure.
I mean, not much can really happen in 4 million years.
Nothing much doesn't happen in 4 million years.
I mean, dinosaurs fought that long for like almost 10 times that, you know?
What's a dinosaur? I'm joking. I know Rex is out there somewhere. He's explained it to me many a time when he stops, stuffing his mouth with my tires.
He'll stick around the ship for most of it. He will, like, as all of you kind of take shifts to just stay close to him, make certain that he's safe and everything. But like I said, he kind of takes a shining to you a bit there, Wild Strike. He likes all of you, it seems, but Wild Strike seems to be his friend there. After those 3 days, the verdict comes back. It is the real thing, and you are all asked to return to the courtroom for more of a ceremonial kind of end to the trial. And and Stanzamp will come up and say,
The crystal was found to be authentic, so the summary judgment for you, Magnum, now stands. This court rules you are not guilty of all 5 charges. You are now a free bot. And to you and all of your companions, Scarvix owes you a debt of gratitude for the return of the bending crystal. Case is closed.
Yeah.
I'll shake esteemed Magnum's hand. Congratulations, sir.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
I get you I had a lighter and some cigarettes made for you to celebrate.
I have that new one that Sweetsop made me some now. That's awesome.
Just gonna have a collection of them. We do it long enough, and you're just gonna have a flamethrower. Just like.
Just touch all your lighters to the combination matrix.
Dude,
have them turn into a weapon.
I was gonna say you have to turn. You have to take a level of a leader thing,
like controller.
Yeah, controller, and just have your lighter be one of your companion.
Haven't had a smoke in days, man. Can robots get nicotine withdrawal? I know these guys have been drinking for 3 days already, but now that he's free, he's going to take everybody out for a piss up somewhere. Free drinks and food for people who can eat it, and he'll invite the prosecutor, he'll invite the judge.
This is highly irregular. But
you showed up.
Fuck it, yes.
But I'll have a ginger beam highball. Straight.
Axle grease is all around,
Actually, this is a kind of an interesting little thing you just said, too, because as the people who returned the binding crystal, the 5 of you are invited to essentially a presentation gala where the binding crystal is going to be restored to its rightful place in the ministry, and there's going to be a fairly big party, and all important people are going to be invited as such. But as the heroes, you are also invited. And to be honest, it's an invitation, in quotes. You're more expected to attend as the people who really were responsible for this.
Are you kidding me? I can't turn that down.
Well, it's funny. It's funny. Like,
wouldn't miss it.
You've actually been here before.
So I've been told.
Obviously, I don't.
Don't say that too loud.
Obviously, I don't want to be there, but I'll be there.
Obviously.
Carapace.
Hey, maybe you'll find some more big beefy bot to grunt at.
Open bar. I mean, come on.
Weapons to talk about. Thank you for the gift, by the way, Parapus. I didn't say.
Oh, no.
Thank you very much. All right, let's go party, guys.
Yeah.
Do they want me to do a speech? I can do a speech.
They'd be okay with that.
No. We're all shaking our heads no as behind Magnum's back. Like, no. Just cutting us off at the neck. No, don't do it.
All right, so it takes a couple of days for everything to get ready, but yeah, like I said, a few days later, we'll say 4 days later to get everything all ready to go.
Would that be enough time for Circuit and Cameraman to get here? If I send word that, there's big news in Scarvix that people from Cybertron might want to know about.
If you send the notification before or right when the testing starts, then yes.
I'm down with that. And yes, I definitely want Circuit to be on hand ASAP. So as soon as that they were pausing to do the testing, I'll send word that, hey, exclusive story, you might want to get on top of over here.
I'm putting my time towards culture because I'm getting cultured all over the place.
That's fair. That's fair.
I mean, this didn't feel like, like, what were you doing? Piloting, engineer? No. I'm being cultured.
No, that makes perfect sense.
Well, being neck deep in the legal system will...
Yeah.
I might just take a rank in legal.
Profession lawyer?
Profession lawyer.
Legalese.
Yeah, sweet spot. I have no problem with that. So you send a message back to Cybertron, and Circuit and the news staff kind of hears about what's going on in Scarvix. And Circuit and his cameraman, I believe it's a Longtooth.
Longtooth, yeah.
So yeah, they come by and they I mean it's kind of like an odd thing because you don't generally see like Cybertronian media like elsewhere, so it's kind of an unusual thing to see.
But it's a big event.
Yeah, exactly. The people of Scarvix certainly appreciate it, being covered too. So it is the evening of the party. The five of you, and Nico will actually join you in this one too. He will stick close to at least one of you folks, though, during the entire thing.
Not it.
That's fine.
And the five of you will head there, and you're introduced to everyone. You'll mingle. It's a nice big party. Thansamt will come up to you, Magnum, at some point during the evening, and will kind of do the equivalent of like clinking a glass to get everyone's attention.
Honored guests, I would like to present the bot that is most responsible for returning the binding crystal to us. This is Magnum of Cybertron.
Would you like to say a few words there, Magnum?
Would I ever? I don't know what words, but...
I will drink down the drink all the way. This will be good.
People of Scarvix, thank you very much for this great honor. I may have forgotten everyone, and I may have returned something that didn't belong to me, because it belonged to you. But I have never been treated so kindly by a large group of people who I don't recognize. So, I can't say I've ever been honored in such a way this week, but I must have to drink a toast to Judge Stanislav here and his absolutely fantastic legal system. It does show that the legal system of Scarvix is definitely an exemplar in the galaxy, and other planets should look to them. So thank you very much, and it is a deep honor to be here. And I hope I didn't create an international incident.
Just in case, I'm going to remove myself from the area and get a lot of distance between me and Magnum. Like, way over there in the dark corner where I can't be filmed.
The prosecutor there will come up to you and... we'll kind of congratulate you on a well-argued case.
My dear opponent, my dear ambassador, Sweet Spot, you conducted a very adequate trial.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, prosecutor. Coming from you, that is very high praise.
My congratulations to you and Magnum.
You were no slouch yourself. There were times when I would have been sweating bullets if I sweat at all. How long have you been practicing law, by the way?
Oh, I am very experienced in the legal system. I've been practicing for 65 years.
Wow, that is amazing. And I beat you on my first try.
I saw that kick set up. Set 1, 2, 3, boom.
And she gets this kind of cross look in her eyes, like,
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
Come on, don't be that way.
I respect you a little bit more now. That was. I hope you recorded that. Just so for posterity.
I'll be like, come on now, don't be that way. I mean, you surely wouldn't want to win against an innocent bot. That's not justice.
Oh.
She's like, of course I would.
The law requires me to answer no.
What about our people?
You said all you need to say.
But you argued your case very well. Perhaps a future in lawyering is in your future.
God, I hope not. It is much too stressful. I will, however, congratulate you as well on a justice for your people being served. And I'll raise my glass.
And to you as well. Here's to your health. And a very short life.
What's Wildstrike doing during all of this party stuff? I imagine he's not the biggest fan of parties.
Yeah, I'm just kind of wandering around, checking the exits, looking for trouble, making sure nobody's going to try to come after Magnum anymore or any of the rest of us, making my way through the crowd, just kind of, sizing people up. And
do I see him doing that?
Probably.
I'm sure you do. You're not hiding it, Wildstrike,
No.
right?
I'm gonna approach him when I see this. Wildstrike.
Yeah.
You did some pretty courageous and amazing work on this trial case here. I appreciate all your efforts. But it's time to relax. It's a party. You deserve it, just as much as all of us.
Yeah, you
You're
never
making
know.
me nervous. Your paranoia is making me nervous. That's all I'm going to say.
That's fine, but this is a odd place, and we don't know who else is out there.
Don't worry. Tomorrow night, this time, we'll be gone.
Yeah, tomorrow
Back on
night.
our ship, and on to the next thing.
Hopefully no other crimes that I don't know I committed.
That's why we're leaving tomorrow night and not a week from now.
Nice. All right. Yeah, Wildstrike, you're kind of just walking around and sizing people up and just, trying to be a bit of security there.
I know there are some people that are still after Nyko, and there could be people that were working with that administrator, so just keeping
He's
an eye
probably
out.
sticking with you.
Yeah.
He seemed fascinated with you.
Yeah, he can stick with me, but it's still keeping an eye out.
And Nyko will stick with you for pretty much the majority of the night. He feels I think he feels a bit safe with you.
Yeah, I'll talk to him about the war and everything.
Sweet Spot, the timer that you had set up on your internal comms there, that goes off. Carapace, what are you up to? I know you said you're going to be walking around in the bar there, but what's Carapace up to?
Well, you said this is a museum, like a cultural museum.
Absolutely.
Do they have a poetry wing?
I imagine they would. They would have something about think of it as this is the Smithsonian of their culture. So I imagine there'd be something.
Carapace has a long history of poetry appreciation, so he'll go to that while he's still the equivalent of sober. And then later that night, if I can you said this is there's actually places with forests and organics and that sort of thing. So after the poetry reading, he'll definitely go out and rip something apart with his mouth. So
I imagine that there would be a garden, maybe a central atrium kind of garden, maybe in the middle there. So
I don't want to cause a scene.
Natural.
Is there a jungle or a
Why did the two activities have to be separate? I mean, it's like Klingon poetry.
Yeah,
this might not be a Klingon park, though. They might take
yeah.
offense at him ripping up the public works.
The party is kind of winding down a little bit. Some of the guests have kind of already made their way out. Sweet Spot, what are you up to over here?
I'm just gonna go out and get some air. I've drank probably more than my share of free beverages. Just kind of bask in the victory of it all for a moment.
So yeah, the party is kind of winding down a little bit. Most of the most important people have may have kind of already made their exit and have kind of done their rounds. Some are still kind of like saying goodbye and everything, but there's still some kind of hanging around. Stanzamt is still hanging around, of course, and the 5 of you are still here. The media is still there, so Circuit and Longtooth are still kind of wandering around. They're kind of wrapping up their stuff. They're just getting like B-roll and sound bites and just the last of the stuff they need for it. Wild Strike, you notice a couple things. One, you've already noticed that Carapace has kind of made his way off to a different part of the ministry. He didn't tell you where he's going, but you get the sense that he's just looking at some of the exhibits and kind of wandering around a little bit. Sweet Spot has kind of made his way. You're not quite certain where he is. He's kind of looks like he stepped out or something from one, or stepped into like a deeper part of the museum somewhere. Nyko is kind of still hanging around you, and Magnum is still just basking in the glory of being the hero of the day. Not a role he gets to play very often. And you notice a fella kind of moving out of the room, and go ahead and give me a sense motive.
14.
You're not quite certain kind of what he's doing, but you see him looking around a little bit, like looking around almost as much as you're looking around, like keeping an eye on his surroundings. He's certainly hyper aware of what's going on. You kind of see him start making his way towards the exit.
Yeah, I'll make my way towards his location. Just keep an eye on him a little closer.
I imagine you kind of just like hold your hand back to keep Nyko back for just a minute here, just in case it is a threat. And you start making your way towards this fella. It is a mechanical being. In fact, he looks vaguely Cybertronian. Like you've kind of started seeing the mechanical beings here on Scarvix. You've kind of started to be able to tell the difference of what a Scarvixian mechanical being is and a more proper Cybertronian. You can certainly tell. You can tell that there are pieces of what is an alt mode on this bot. So you start moving towards him, and that is when all hell breaks loose. From behind you, a huge explosion rocks the wing. The detonation is massive. It is easily enough to level that wing of the Ministry. As you turn around quick to see what's going on, you can see the eastern wing of the museum collapsing. You can see Nyko. He is in between the section that's collapsing and you watch in horror as sections of the roof just fall down and land on top of him. And the more you think about this, the more you realize the direction of the explosion is where Sweet Spot was.
Oh. What now?
And we'll see you next time.
No, we won't see me next time.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Let's hope. Oh, man. Couldn't just have a party.
From the secret files of Teletran 1, Empire of Rust is written and GM'd by Michael Ordway. Headmaster Magnum and his partner Pythagoras are played by Matthew G. Candidate Sweet Spot, representative of Velocitron, is played by Adam H.U. The Decepticon Warrior, Wild Strike, is played by Mike M. And Carapace, the Beast Soldier of Primitive Eucharis, is played by Patrick Finn. Additional characters are played by Michael and Cassandra Ordway. Empire of Rust is supported by the humans and networks of planet Earth, whose online networks provide access to libraries of sound effects and music, such as Storyblocks, Zasplat, Blue Zone, and Dark Fantasy Studios. We are distributed by the Transmissions Podcast Network. Stay up to date with all the latest news and reviews in the world of the Transformers by going to transmissionspodcast.com or searching for the Transmissions in your podcast app of choice. You can communicate with the heroes of Iacon by joining us on the Transmissions Discord channel. There you can discuss episodes, talk to the cast, and download the rule set used in the Empire of Rust. Teletran 1, signing off.